everyone. Welcome to On the Edge of Entertainment, where I get to invite my friends from Las Vegas and around the globe who are entertainers, and we get to find out a little bit about what's going on in their lives right now. So today I have my friend Scott Keogh on, and he is this amazing Michael Bublé-esque crooner. He's got an amazing voice. I can't wait for you to hear him. Here he is, Scott Keogh, everyone.
Hey everyone.
Okay, so here's the deal. Scott Keogh is currently driving to California, and he didn't want to miss this meeting, so he said, "Hey, I'm a risk taker. I'm gonna drive and do an interview with Coty Alexander."
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Scott, you're so silly. So you don't have a driver? I figured you'd be going around with a driver.
No, I got hands free, so I'm legal on the cell phone, and I got the thing mount. I got my phone mounted, so we're good there. So I'm gonna focus on the road and just gonna go on by my ears and hang out with Cody Alexander for a bit. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, you do know it's on video, correct?
Yeah,
People are seeing you. I just want you
but
to know.
they're seeing me. I just want to let them know it's like all legal because I've got my ears in instead of on my so it's hands free, and I'm not watching the video at all. So I don't even know what you look like. I don't know what you're wearing at all.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. That's good. I'm game with that. So basically, Scott and I got to work together at Legends in Concert a few seasons ago. And he was playing the Michael Bublé character, which is, I think, everyone's favorite singer. And if you guys knew and saw Scott in action, he would be your favorite singer.
You've done many performances around town here, right?
Many performances around town and across the country. I do have a home, and that's at the W Scottsdale. And I'll be there on March 22nd for a living room live performance at 10 o'clock at night.
Very good. And that's where you normally perform, but you do national anthems at many of the games, stuff like that, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did national anthem for the Arizona Diamondbacks last summer.
Yeah.
Didn't help them out with their season, but nonetheless, it was a lot of fun.
I'm sure it
You
was.
are going to sing now.
Okay.
What are you going to sing?
I'm going to sing home.
All
Okay.
right. Take it away, Scott.
Another summer day has come and gone away, and Paris and Rome don't want to go home. Maybe surrounded by a million people, I still feel all alone. I just wanna go home. Oh, I'm missing you. I've been keeping all the letters that I wrote to you. Now each one a line or two. I'm fine, baby, how are you? I was sending, but I know that it's just not enough. My words are cold and flat, and you deserve more than that. Another airplane, another sunny place. I'm lucky, I know, but I wanna go home. Oh, I've got to go home. Let me go home. I'm just too far from where you are, and I gotta go home.
First, I want to know like how you got started in the entertainment business.
Well, I've been entertaining pretty much since I was like born. It's sort of in my genes. It's sort of what I do. I started out when I was 3 or 4. I used to play piano for the neighborhood, but I did it behind my back because playing it normally it wasn't good enough. So I had to flip around and play it behind my back.
No
And I'm like,
way.
yeah. So I'm like, well, this is getting attention and people are digging it. And I seem to like it myself. So that kind of set me on a path of stage presence and plays and musicals and college theatrics and just basically like Jim Carrey's dad said about Jim Carrey. They said, dude, your son is quite a ham. And he would say, oh no, he's the whole pig.
And that's how people describe you as well?
Pretty much. I kind of tend to get a little out there sometimes. So it's just been in my blood. I love entertainment, but more than that, I love my ears love vocals and really quality sounding harmonies, vocal licks. So people today, example, would be Bruno Mars, of course, Bublé, but also Blake Lewis, which is sort of an unknown artist out there. And, of course, Adam from Maroon 5, Rob Thomas, Matchbox 20. And on the female side, just goes on and on and on. We're talking, of course, Madonna and Gwen. Listen, I was a Gwen fan from day one. As soon as I heard No Doubt, oh man, she just killed it for me. I like Madonna too, don't get me wrong, but Gwen, something about the way she attacked the vocals. And for me, it's always been about vocals.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good to hear. I love portraying Gwen. She's just so raw and rock, and she's so much fun to play. I had a contract in Vegas all summer for Gwen, and they were bringing me back from. I guess I haven't done it in quite a while, so I was really excited. But
yeah, congrats.
Yeah, but COVID got it, so. There you go.
So I got my Covey Cove lettuce haircut here. It's got the mullet going and everything.
I love it. I wish I could see it in person. That would be great.
Yes, I've turned into a full scale hippie, Coty.
Hey, we all have. It's like I think it's our moment. Because entertainers, we always have to be so on top of it, and it's about the whole package, the look of it, and everything. So. It is nice to kind of explore some different things and to not worry about looks so much. Although I do have to admit that when I do these interviews, I absolutely love dressing up and feeling like a human again. So, yeah, I enjoy it for sure. It's my moment to get out in front of the computer is about as far as I go.
Oh yeah, I've loved the whole staycation on this deal. I mean, I know a lot of entertainment has shut down. And my first thought was, oh, this gives me a lot of chance to write and record and to plan. And I've definitely been doing all three of those things.
I have too. And I think it's given, everybody in the world, an opportunity to see another side of themselves as people. So, everything happens for a reason. And there's good if you can see it, through the bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I feel the bad, the most bad I feel for the person that just started making their break, and then they put all this time into developing some sort of a band or a lead singer or whatever, and it goes across the board with sports too. Like, let's say that they just got to that breaking point, and then COVID hit. Those people I feel the worst for because they didn't get a chance to really hit their stride. And I'm very grateful that I got a chance to put years of performing arts across the world under my belt, and it's just a gratefulness. So I do feel the worst though for the people who just got to that point where they're about to take the stage and then, whoop, sorry, not yet.
Yeah. So up until this all happened, were you pretty busy? I mean, the last few years for me have been really busy in entertainment. So what have you been up to?
Yeah. So since I last did Legends, and we did a run in Scottsdale, I believe, was probably one of the last ones I did. I'm trying to piece it all together.
Yeah.
Mainly after that, and I had my vision on this the whole time. And I love doing Legends, and there's so much pros to doing Legends, is I kind of stepped onto the springboard of corporate work. And corporate work is something that's not for everybody. You kind of got to have thick skin because most of the time they're not there for you, and not all eyes are going to be on you most of the time either. And
right.
So you got to prepare for that and have thick skin about that. And if you can, and if you don't mind, they typically have pretty decent paychecks, and they let you travel around this great world of ours and see some beautiful places. So corporate was sort of where I geared everything to, and my type of music just kind of lends itself to high-end corporate events. And so I just kind of have been doing that mainly. I'll throw in a public event now and then. Don't get me wrong. I always love to do that. And, you know, as an entertainer, you probably need that now and then just to feel alive again. But corporate was my bread and butter for the last X amount of years. I've just been able to really, sometimes when they don't watch you, you can actually get away with more shenanigans and just take it to the limit and really challenge your vocals and come up with, because if they're not listening anyways, you're going to like try to, you know, rework a vocal or redo a timing or a phrase that you never even thought of doing because you just want to make it interesting.
So one interesting thing that you just mentioned was the fact that when you're doing corporate work, or even Legends in Concert for that matter, you're performing, but these people didn't necessarily pay to see you. So it's almost like the most difficult way to get the applause and the feeling back if you're a performer.
It's a challenge for sure. It's a different animal completely. And you have to go in knowing what it's all about. Mainly, you're just there to please the client. And so whatever happens, as long as the client is happy and the client is the CEO or the planner, or, you know, you find out who the person in charge of the run of show is. And that's the person you really got to key in on, because you're not going to please everybody. There's going to be people that are networking and talking at their tables. They don't care about the entertainment whatsoever. You could be Michael Jackson, actually, and still, their networking is more important because they're about to sign a multi-million-dollar contract. So, sorry, Michael Jackson, I got to sign this deal right here.
Right, and they're heading to Florida for 4 days from wherever they're from around the country to do business. And yes, there's some entertainment involved, and it's nice to see. But yeah, to get them to pay attention is another thing. So anyway, that's cool. I'm glad that you've been working a lot. And another thing I wanted to ask you is, and I have an idea about what this might be, but maybe there's another one that I don't know about. But what is like either like your biggest claim to fame or a really embarrassing moment or a funny moment on stage?
Sure, I can do all those for you real quick.
Cool.
Claim to fame would be two things. One, my original song called All to You. All to You was a song I wrote for my mom. Coincidence, I'm actually driving to my mom's 80th birthday party right now.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. I'm going to Altaloma, California, so all you out there in YouTube land, come join me for the party. It's going to be fun.
Right on.
I actually wrote her a song for her birthday. That's going to be fun. I like to do that for occasions.
You never wrote me one for my birthday.
Yeah. You know,
next year.
Let me know when it is, and I'll write a song about you. I'll whip it up in probably a day or two.
Cool.
So I wrote a song about my mom from the perspective of a son that the lyrics kind of go, I may not call you as much as I should. I may not say I love you as much as I could, but you've got to know there's one thing I want you to know is that the person I've become, I owe it all to you. So All to You was the title of the song. And I wrote it in 2010. And so wedding DJs across the country picked it up. They started playing it at weddings for the mother-son dance.
Aww.
And now every weekend somewhere, wherever there's a wedding, they're playing that somewhere across North America every weekend. And so that's my recording claim to fame. And then my live performance claim to fame was, are you aware of a super producer by the name of David Foster?
Yeah. So,
you know, he produced Earth, Wind & Fire, Chicago, Barbra Streisand, Whitney Houston, you name it. And if it was a hit in the 80s and 70s and even some into the 90s, he's like just a hit machine. Mm-hmm. And of course, he produced Michael Bublé's first 3 albums. His first 3 albums. And so he's responsible for putting Bublé on the map, actually. I don't know if you knew that or not.
No, I didn't.
And he's responsible for Bublé's career, basically. Bublé was about ready to hang it up. He'd been at it for 10 plus years in Canada, and he was going to do a wedding, which Bublé never did a wedding before. It was his very first wedding. He didn't want to do weddings. So, okay, so now I'm not driving.
All right, he pulled over for us. Okay.
So Foster was at this wedding in Canada just by chance. And the Prime Minister's daughter was getting married in Canada. And Prime Minister was at the same table with David Foster, looked over at David and said, hey, David Foster, I got this guy I want you to look at. And he discovered Bublé right then and there singing Mac the Knife. So that's how that happened.
Jeez.
And then I ran into David Foster at one of the biggest charity galas ever. They raised multi-million dollars for this charity called Celebrity Fight Night. It was after Muhammad Ali, basically for Parkinson's disease, but also for all kinds of charities. And they bring in celebrities, superstars from LA and Hollywood and all over the world.
And Scott Keogh.
And Scott, yeah, right. So they brought in that day. They brought in to start the show was Brooks and Dunn, one of the two. I forget which one it was. I think it was Dunn. then they had Kelly Clarkson, and she killed. She just killed.
All right.
And then they had Josh Groban. Josh Groban went on next. So then David Foster goes, I met this guy earlier today. His name is Scott. He's some sort of Michael Bublé tribute guy. I don't know. If he's here, let's bring him up. Maybe he'll do a song for us. And so I actually followed Josh Groban and Kelly Clarkson. He said, let's come on up, Scott. I want you to sing. What song you want to sing? I said, well, you're David Foster. I'm going to sing Feeling Good. You produced it. So we did Feeling Good on stage in front of Robert De Niro, Russell Wilson, Reba McEntire was right in front of me. And I'm going, all right. Time to get a little bit nervous. And so
were you nervous?
I was.
I can't imagine you being nervous, but yeah, okay.
I know. It wasn't my best performance, but it was definitely my most energetic performance. Like I wanted to get everybody in that room, like just to feel this energy.
Yeah.
And so I got up. You can see the whole performance if you type in "Celebrity Fight Night Scott Keogh," and you'll see the whole thing.
Oh, cool.
And it was crazy. So that was one of my craziest moments. At the end of and David hadn't done the song in years, and the entire band had not rehearsed it and never done the song.
Oh God, so I can't even imagine.
Everyone's winging it. There's no key changes. There's no nothing. They're just like going. I know.
I would never, and especially in that crowd, right? You'd think that it was supposed to be, rehearsed and just act like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring him up, but it's always rehearsed. So man.
Yeah, and then Blake Shelton went on after me, and he was pissed because everyone was all energetic. And he's like, well, can't top that, so I guess I'll just sing whatever. Here it goes.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love it. I love it, Scott.
That
doesn't surprise me. You were always a huge hit.
It was just a good time. It felt like surreal for a moment, and then me and David gave a hug to each other, and that was a blast.
Nice. Well, hopefully you stay in touch, and who knows what'll come of it.
Yeah, you never know. I'm enjoying life. I actually kind of like being a little bit under the radar. I don't have that insatiable desire anymore to be an A-lister. I did it one time. I'm like, well, why are they there and I'm not there, huh? And I used to have that whole angst about not being an A-lister. And let me tell you, the B life, Coty, is glorious. I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would have to agree with that. I never really wanted to have fame. I didn't even strive for it. It doesn't attract me. It seems like it would be a pain in the butt.
Right.
But anyway, it's nice to have the experiences that we do, and our lives are pretty amazing without being quote famous, anyway. So that's very cool. Now, I have something in mind, but what about a funny moment on stage?
I was in Vegas. I was doing a Legends show, and sometimes I'll walk down these steps, and I'll mess with the crowd because, you know, I get squirrely sometimes, and I like to, like Harry Shahoyan, I like to mess with the crowd as much as possible. And this guy in the front, his name was Johnny, and me and Johnny were having a good time, and we're laughing. And then after he kind of sang into the microphone and everyone clapped for him, I was going to walk back upstage on the stairs, and the lip of my shoe caught the lip of the front step, something fierce. And I went hands forward onto the stage like a Pete Rose dive into second base. Almost lost the microphone. I don't know how I held on to it, but I'm like, whoa.
Good for you.
I know. I kept the mic, like slid into the stage, didn't hurt myself. You could feel the entire crowd just going like that. And so I quick turned around, and my first thought was, I said, Johnny, did you trip me? And so they laughed, and we're good.
Okay, I didn't know about that one. Was I in the show with you at the time?
I don't remember. I don't know, but I remember going, thank God I had a comeback line, because that would have been a ruiner for the rest of the show for me.
Oh, I know. Those moments are horrible. One time I kicked my leg so high that I basically kicked myself in the face.
Ouch.
And I fell flat on my back.
Oh.
Yeah, it was crazy. But stuff happens, you know. And actually that one, I fell so hard that I just kind of sat there on my back, kind of with my legs sort of up in the air, just stunned and just kind of like, wait, am I okay? And then I kind of rolled over onto all fours and just like, where am I? I was dizzy. It was like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. It was one of those bad ones, you know, but it happens. It happens. But the moment that I was talking about, and now I'm hoping it was you, because I hope I'm remembering this right. But, you know, every day you take, you know, your bottle of water out on stage.
Yes, that was me.
Okay. So you take your bottle of water out on stage, and you know, you have it there because you're singing your face off, and you've got to take that, you know, guzzle of water every now and then. And I don't know why, but and it was the technician of the show, wasn't it? Who got you? So one of the technicians of the show filled his bottle with vodka. Now, and I feel like you were sick at the time, and I got pissed for you because I knew for a fact that you were already struggling and you were desperate to get a drink of water, but for some reason this is the day that they decided to pick to put vodka, and you needed a sip of water and you chugged vodka instead.
Well, it was the reason why. It was my last day on that.
Okay.
And the night before, we had all the whole cast and Jillian and Steve McCoy and a whole bunch of Vegasites. We all went out to someplace, and I got bliss. And so I was very hungover for that last day, that last show. And I was able to perform, but you know, my stomach was like, one of those jobs.
Oh God.
And so when I did that, it was close. I was really close to losing it. And I could tell, like, the dancers behind me knew. They were all in on it. They knew. I could see Cece was in the back just going like this. He's like, he's going to vom. He's going to vom.
I know. I was too. I thought that was the meanest thing. I didn't think it was funny at all. But anyway, I remember that moment, and I'm glad that you were here now to tell the story for real.
I love it. It made for a great story. It was funny to me because it was on me. And I can handle all kinds of stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty creative. And I thought they pulled it off because I clearly didn't know. I took a big swig of that too. And I was ready to spit it out. I'm like, if I spit it out, that'll be obvious it's vodka.
There's always some shenanigans in shows for the last days. It's always a blast to see what happens. I remember for one of my last shows, I was singing Hung Up, and I had this prop telephone, and the dancers would hand me the prop telephone, and I'd sing in the telephone kind of thing. That was part of the act, part of the choreography. So on this night, they handed me a banana for the phone. It's like, how are we supposed to sing when we're laughing? It's just, you have to be an audience member on those days because And you always have to watch out for this stuff in stage shows, especially in places like Vegas, because we do the same show every single night. And sometimes we like to just kind of create moments that nobody hopefully knows about that keep us excited about what we're doing.
Yeah, the only time I ever saw Legends, not as hired, I wasn't hired yet as Legends. I went there to check it out.
Yeah.
And it was Steve McCoy's last day of a run.
Oh, God.
He went to grab his mic stand, and they had like got felt below the mic stand base, and then they put dental floss around it. So from the wings, they're pulling his mic stand away from him.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to grab it, and it's like moving away from him.
Oh my gosh. That is hilarious.
And then two other Legend notes real quick is one, the very first time I ever heard Legends, I was in Harrah's casino, and I remember opening the door, and I asked for like the program director, which was Jillian at the time. Well, I don't think she's still there. And she came out and met me, and there's a whole story there. But while the door was open, I was listening to who was doing a sound check. And do you know who was doing sound check?
Who? Me? Ah, that's so cool.
I know. So I'm like, oh, cool. They have a Madonna in the show. And I remember going, oh, she's killing it too. It sounds good. And then my favorite Coty Alexander daily moment in our run was when you came out to Hey Mr. DJ, I forget the words. Hey Mr. DJ, put a record on. And you come out in this fur coat. That was one of your like 1,000 costume changes that you did.
Yep.
And you would come out in that fur coat, and when you hit that Mr. DJ, put a record on. I wanna goo 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 goo. And I'm like, oh, that's so perfect. And it wasn't just good one time. It was like I wouldn't leave to go upstairs yet until I saw that moment. I had to see it every single time. Just the way you walked out with that fur coat, you're like, yeah, that's right. I've got this. It was just so confident.
That moment is so gangster. And I guess that's kind of like the persona that I went into at that moment. Just like, yeah, here I come with my cowboy hat and my fur. I'm glad that you felt that. You know, sometimes we as entertainers, we have no idea what other people are picking up from what we do, you know, and to realize that somebody actually appreciated a certain moment proves that we're doing we're doing this right. So thank you for that.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, cool. I just wondered if you had any, specific advice tips that you would want to give anybody in the industry.
Well, if you're thinking about doing this, don't run away as far as you can.
It's supposed to be good advice, Scott.
You got doctors, you could be a lawyer, you could be anything. Why would you choose this? What are you, a narcissist?
Because we make as much as doctors and lawyers per hour. Come on.
I kid. If you really have a passion for it, then definitely pursue it. If you're on the fence, maybe play with it a little while. But if you have a passion for it, I would say find out what you do better than most people that you hear, see, and look at. Like, what is your niche? What is your strong thing that you can do? And then if you love it so much that you will do it for free, A, you got something right there. And then B, I would just put in the 10,000 hours. Like, those two things are gold. Like, if you love it, that you'll do it for free, which are most stand-up comedians. They don't get paid they don't get paid for years. So, but they're in terrible monetary situations for a long time. But if you do it so much that you do it for free, and then two, if you find out what that niche is, 10,000 hours into it, and it'll go by in a day because you're loving it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice for anything that you do, right? And I would add that if you want to be an entertainer, definitely have another career. No, I have another career, but then that gives you the freedom to express your artistry stuff.
Yeah, definitely don't quit your day job. Keep your day job as long as you can until you are replacing that income with your entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cool. Scott, I miss you a lot, and I want to send my love to you and all your family because I miss everybody. And I hope that we get to see each other sometime.
Me too. You know, I was up for a run in with Legends in Atlantic City this summer, and that got canceled.
Dang it.
So I was looking forward to doing that and getting out of town for the summer. I was supposed to be in Italy in June, and so that got canceled. But that's okay, because again, it's given me time to revamp what I want to come back and do more of, and which I have run away from a lot. I've really avoided it. Is the low-paying public shows, such as a 4-piece band. I've always avoided 4-piece bands, and I've always avoided a lot of public shows because they're kind of a pain in the neck as far as how much work is involved on both those fronts. And for me, a 4-piece band just doesn't quite grab. The horn section has got to be on point. So what I'm going to do is cheat a little bit, kind of like Chris did for years, and maybe he's still doing it with Zoe Bowie, and mix a little track, and also mix a little bit of track in with some horns, but also have a sax player and a trumpet player, a drum, and a keyboard, and I'll get rid of the bass and I'll get rid of the guitar, and that way I'll still have a 4-piece with some live horns. But I'm such a tempo Nazi. I got to have the right tempo at all times. And so,
yeah, I know what you mean. You know, like you have to have a certain expectancy, and tracks are always good for that. And hey, you know what? Everybody's doing it.
yeah, I don't mind cheating a little bit as long as I can still put out a really quality product that I feel like I'm singing live. And maybe there's going to be some blended harmonies, and maybe there'll be some hidden horns and stuff you don't see on the stage. But I think a 4-piece can cover that, and at the same time, I just want to give the best product, and whatever that means, my ears are always the judge.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know you'll do it amazing. You always do. You have great stuff. He's got tons of, I'm going to put his YouTube links here because he's got tons of music that you can see. And everybody out there, please subscribe to us, like us, and know that we're all available here for your entertainment pleasure.
Exactly. And even if you hate us, just put a comment. I'll take that too.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Because Coty, once you get a couple of haters, you know you've made it.
Right? Okay, my friend. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope to be seeing you sooner than later.
Coty, it's good to see you. Good to hear from you. And same, likewise. Let's meet out in entertainment world once again, and we'll have some fun on a stage with a bunch of craziness.
All right, I'm gonna play the people out with one of your videos.
Okay, I apologize in advance.
Stop. Bye.
Cheers, everybody.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. That's what I need. And this whole world is a new world and a whole world for me. I thought